Okay, hello again. Now we are going to complete our lecture, and we are going to talk about new part, which is depth interview. As I told you before, we have two tools regarding the qualitative tools. We have the focus group and we have the in-depth interviews. We have already finished the focus group. What is the focus group? What are the characteristics of the focus group, the advantage and the disadvantage of the focus group? Then we talked about the online focus group. Now we are going to talk about the depth interview. The depth interview, it is one of the tools in the qualitative method. Here, as you can see, let's make it full screen. Okay. Here, as you can see, that what is depth interview as a definition, they are unstructured, direct way of obtaining information, but unlike focus group, they are conducted one-on-one basis. The first part, they are unstructured. What we mean by unstructured? Unstructured means that they don't have like an order of question. They have themes. They have some topics we want to ask about them, but we don't have to go in the same order of this question. This is what we mean by unstructured. On the contrary, all the quantitative methods are structured, which means we have a question with some answers like multiple choice, yes or no, your gender, male or female. You have two options. What kind of movies, for example, you watch, I give them different kind of options. This is what we mean by structure. So structure means questions with options of answers. Even the open questions, it have like a limited lines to answer inside them, and we have an order of the questions. On the contrary, the depth interview are unstructured, means we have topics, we have themes. For example, we have to collect information regarding this theme, but all we care about that we cover all the information related to these themes either in the same order or not in the same order, which mean by unstructured that we have flexibility regarding collecting this information. This is what we mean by unstructured, and it is also a direct way for obtaining an information. If we want to make a comparison between it and the focus group discussion, we are going to find that unlike the focus group discussion, they are conducted one-on-one basis, like an interviewer and he's asking someone in front of him. That's it. Concerning the objective, about the objective, why we do a interview. An interview we seek through the depth interview to personally uncover the underlying motivation, beliefs, attitudes, and feeling on one respondent on a topic. The depth interviews, it's a way to dig deep inside the information from one of the participants. Like in the quantitative, all we care about it is horizontal type of information, like a ruler. I'm trying to get as much information from different types of people. Okay, so what I care about it's the number. On the contrary, the depth interview, since it is a qualitative, I want to dig deep inside the information regarding one person. I want to know the motivation, the beliefs, the attitude, his or her opinion regarding some kind of a topic, a product. Like, for example, I'm asking about like this pen, for example. I'm going to ask in a quantitative, I'm going to depend on the survey. But then in the qualitative, I'm going to ask him, what kind of information do you write about it? Do you care about like the color of the pen? Do you care about مثلا the smoothness of the ink itself? For that's what we mean by we seek depth information from our target audience. And here the duration, it's from 30 minutes to more than 1 hour, but it cannot be extended to 2 hours, like for example as we did in the focus group. Why? Because it's just one-to-one. So actually I have to be like hour and a half, maximum 2 hours, but I can't go over 2 hours. This is regarding the depth interview. Okay, what about the logistic of conducting the depth interview? By the logistic here, I mean like the operational definition, how I begin and how I finish. The first part, I begin by an into, to break the ice between me and the interviewer. General questions, in order to encourage the respondent to begin to talk freely, to feel familiar with me, and to feel familiar with my topic. Of course, I have to ask people who are directly engaged or related to my topic. I don't ask people who are not related to my topic. So first we begin by general questions in order to break the ice between us and the group. The interview. The second part, that the subsequent direction of the interview is determined by the respondent initial reply, which means what? Which means that the question and the orders are determined by the replies itself. That's why it is unstructured. That's why it is flexible. So I have some topics, me as an interviewer, I have some topics I want to ask about them. Okay, that's it. But I don't have to stick as if I am a train walking on a direct line concerning this subject. I have to be flexible. Like when I ask my respondent about something and the respondent just answer me back about this topic, sometimes I could skip some questions and get back to these questions afterward, because actually I'm dependent on the replies of my respondent. The last part that the interviewer questions aims at elaboration. Like, for example, if my respondent is just answering me by yes or no, good or bad, that's not the objective of an interview. Actually, the objective of an interview, as I told you before, it's to dig deep inside the information. So I cannot take yes or no, good or bad, useful or not useful as an answer. I have to push my respondent to give me as much information as I can regarding the topic I'm collecting information about. That's why the question aims at elaboration, at discussion, at giving insights, about giving underlying motivation, underlying beliefs, the feelings of my respondent regarding the topic I'm asking about. What about the interviewer role? As I told you before, in the focus group discussion, actually, the moderator play a very important role in how the focus group is going to be successful or not. The same goes with the interview. In terms of the interview, the interviewer is crucial to the success of the in-depth interview. Why? Because the interviewer, first of all, avoid appearing as a superior. This is like how the interviewer should react with the respondent. He shouldn't appear as a superior. He shouldn't appear as if he knows everything he's asking about, because on the other side, the one who is asking him this information is going to respond by a way that, okay, if you know all of this information, why you are asking me? So first of all, the interviewer should avoid to be superior to the respondent. The second thing, he should be flexible with the respondent to give him comfort, to give him to be at ease. The second part, he should be objective, be detached and objective. What we mean by being detached and objective? It's clear. The interviewer, when he's asking about something, he know a lot of information about, but that doesn't mean by all means that he should be subjective, or he should move the respondent to go in a different situation, or to answer the question as if he's asking the respondent to talk, or to answer him in a certain way. يعني المفترض ان الانترفيور ما يبقاش زي ما نقول ايه متحيز، ما يجبرش اللي بيساله ان هو كانه بيحوله لاتجاه معين. احنا عارفين ان الموضوع بالنسبه له بيبقى بيرسونال، احنا عارفين ان هو اكيد بيبقى عنده معلومات اكتر بكتير من الريسبوندنت، بس هو لما بيسال حد هو اكيد عايز يعرف معلومات منه اكتر، فلازم يبان على ان هو trying his best to be objective not subjective regarding the topic. The fourth part, that the interviewer asks a question in an informative manner. What we mean by informative manner? Informative manner means that in order to be objective, not subjective, in order to try his best to detach himself from the topic, he should ask it in a way of information, as if I'm seeking information, not seeking an opinion. Of course I'm seeking an opinion, but I have to seek also information. Like ما اقدرش اقول له مثلا بتحب ولا ما بتحبش، بس ممكن السؤال يتحول لفكره ايه؟ طب انت ايه رايك في الموضوع ده؟ وجهه نظرك بخصوصه ايه؟ معلوماتك عنه ايه؟ هو بقى يقول لي بعد كده بيحبه ولا ما بيحبوش، لكن ما ينفعش اقول له هو انت مش بتحب منتجات ايفون. انا لما اجي اقول هو انت مش بتحب منتجات ايفون، انا ازيد بقول له انت ازاي ما بتحبش منتجات ايفون؟ هو دي الفكره. فهو الفكره ان احنا لما نسال الانفورماتيف مانرز، يعني الفكره ان انت ما بتساليش بطريقه السؤال اللي هي بتوجه الشخص اللي بيجاوب على السؤال ان هو يجاوب باتجاهك بنفس الطريقه اللي انت بتتكلمي بيها. يعني بمعنى لو جيت انا مثلا كانترفيور بحب مثلا، طبعا عشان تكونوا عارفين ان انا بحب القهوه، فمثلا هو انا بحب مثلا ستاربكس، فانا بتكلم على ماركات القهوه بشكل عام، فجيت سالت واحد انت ازاي ما بتشربش ستاربكس؟ السؤال ما ينفعش يتقال كده، لان ده سؤال سبجكتيف، ده سؤال انا طريقه القائي ليها بيعبر عن وجهه نظري في الموضوع، وانا ما ينفعش اسال الريسبوندنت بالطريقه دي. فانا المفترض ان انا اساله بطريقه ايه؟ انت ايه رايك؟ شايف ايه كويس اللي فيه؟ شايف ايه اللي وحش فيه؟ السؤال بالطريقه دي بيبقى طريقه informative. الحاجه الخامسه عندنا not accept brief answers as yes or no. As we said before regarding the interview seek elaboration, the question seek in-depth information, the question seek not just a general point of view, but it seek in-depth, it seeks underlying motivation, something that it doesn't appear on the surface of my information. That's why I cannot ask the respondent to answer me by yes or no. I seek to know behind the yes or no, what is your question? I seek to answer the why. That's why all the qualitative method, as I told you before, it seeks to answer the question of why. Okay, that's about the interviewer rule. What about the advantage of the depth interview? First of all, the advantage that it can uncover greater depth of insight than the focus groups. Why? Since it is one-to-one, you are going to ask more information, you are going to dig deep with the respondent. Like for example, as I told you before, the focus group takes from 1 hour to 3 hour maximum. But 1 hour to 3 hour maximum between the number of the people who participate in the focus group, 8 to 12. Like for example, I'm going to take like half an hour maximum with each respondent individually in the focus group. On the contrary, in the in-depth interview, I'm just focusing on one person for an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours maximum. So this means that I'm going to have a lot of information from this person regarding my topic, more than I can have it from the same person inside a focus group. The second part, depth interview results in free exchange of information that may not be possible in focus group because there is no social pressure to conform to a group response. What we mean by that? هنا بنتكلم على ايه؟ هنا الفكره في الفوكس جروب، مشكله في الفوكس جروب ان هو عدد، العدد بيخلي الناس الى حد ما لو في معلومه معينه متعارضه مع زي ما نقول ايه الجماعه، في اشخاص ممكن تسكت، في اشخاص ممكن تخاف، اللي هي فكره زي ما بنقول ايه فكره سياسه القطيع. كل الناس بتحب مثلا منتج معين زي الايفون، 2 أو 3 حتى لو معاهم المقدره الماليه اللي يشتروا الايفون ما بيشتروش. عاده انا ما بقولش بنسبه 100%، بس عاده لما بيبقى في مجموعه بتتكلم هتلاقي الناس اللي عندهم راي مخالف عن الاغلبيه بيسكتوا. فبنقول لكن في المقابل في الدبث انترفيو، لان هو واحد قدام واحد، ففي فري اكسشينج اوف انفورميشن، ده اللي بيخلي ان في بعض الاحيان it can be possible لان ما عنديش social pressure to confirm to the group response، ما عنديش حاجه بتضغط عليا عشان ابقى ماشيه مع الجماعه اللي كانت موجوده في الفوكس جروب. دي regarding ايه؟ دي regarding the advantage of the depth interview. What about the disadvantage of the depth interview? As you can see that most of the disadvantage, it is related with the interviewer. That's number one. Like depth interview suffer from many of the disadvantage of the focus groups, which means what? That they share some of the disadvantage, and this is normally because both of them are qualitative method. While in addition to the disadvantage they share it with the focus group, another part it is related to the interviewer himself, as we said, to the moderator in the focus group. Skilled interviewers capable of conducting depth interview are expensive and difficult to find, which means what? I as a company have two options. The first option, I'm going to depend on an interviewer who are not skilled, which means I'm not going to get the information I seek it. The other option, I'm going to depend on a skilled interviewer. But the problem with them that I have to pay an extra money to get such kind of skilled interviewers. For some companies, for some small institution or some small businesses, they cannot afford such skilled interviewer. So they have two options, either to eliminate or to delete using the interview as a tool to get information, or they are going to depend on an interviewer who are not so skilled, who are not so professional, in order not to have the يعني in order to get the information as much as they can. يبقى تاني بنقول مثلا ان المشكله في الانترفيو ان انا محتاجه يكون عندي انترفيور شاطر. يعرف يجيب المعلومات صح، يعرف يدير الحوار صح، يعرف يديك ديب، يعرف يسعى للمعلومات بشكل مفصل، بشكل متعمق. فالمشكله بتبقى عندي ايه؟ يا اما ابقى شركه ضخمه معايا فلوس فاقدر اجيب السكيلد انترفيو اللي هدفع له فلوس كتير، يا اما في المقابل ابقى سمول بزنس. قدامي تو اوبشن. I cannot afford such skill interview. فالاوبشن الاولاني اللي انا اقدر اعمله ان انا اعمل ايه؟ ان انا اجيب انترفيو اي كلام، او اجيب اي معلومه وخلاص وعشان الدنيا تعدي. المشكله في حاجه زي كده ايه؟ المشكله في حاجه زي كده ان انا هيضطر الشغل بتاعي يضيع، لان انا مش بعرف اجيب المعلومات اللي انا عايزاها، يا اما هضطر ان انا ابتعد تماما عن الاداه دي. لان انتوا زي ما انتوا شايفين كل الادوات اللي ليها علاقه بالكواليتيتيف، الريسيرشر هو اللي مسؤول الاساسي اللي فيها، هو اللي يقدر يطلع معلومه صح او معلومه غلط. وهنلاقي ان في المقابل لما هنيجي نتكلم على الكوانتيتيف ميثودز ان الريسيرشر مش هو المشكله فيها، بتبقى بقى حاجات ليها علاقه بالكويشن، بالستراكشر اوف ذا questions. That's it. The second point, the lack of structure make the result يعني تقريبا اللي هي يعني مشكوك فيها to the interviewer influence and the quality and the completeness if the result depend heavily on the interview skills. بمعنى ايه؟ هنا بنقول the lack of the structure، يعني احنا زي ما اتعرفنا كده لو رجعنا تاني هنلاقي ان احنا كنا بنقول what are interview it is unstructured tool. لما نيجي نقول كلمة unstructured tool، unstructured tool معناه ان الاسئله اللي فيها هي عباره عن themes معينه، topics معينه، we are trying to collect information regarding these topics. فبما ان انا ما عنديش structure فده بيخلي الريزلتس معتمده على تاني القدرات بتاعت الانترفيور. If the interviewer is skillful, his competence is high, this means he is going to manage the unstructured type of themes or question to get as much information as he can. On the other side, if he is not skillful, plus the questions are not structured, because this is actually the nature of the in-depth interview, the problem that I'm not going to get the results I'm seeking it. That is the problem regarding the interview. The last part, it is the length of the interview. Combined with high cost means that the number of the depth interview in a project will be small. بمعنى ايه؟ ما هو انا لما يبقى عندي رقم واحد ان انا عشان اجيب interviewer skillful I have to pay an extra money. Since I have to get information also, I cannot depend on one interview, so I seek to have like 15 or 20 interviews, which mean I'm going to pay a lot of money. فبيبقى عندي دلوقتي مشكلة. Either I'm going to compensate the number of the interviews، بمعنى ان عدد الانترفيوز هيبقى قليل بالنسبة لي عشان انا هدفع فلوس كتير، يا اما هضطر اجيب interviewer not skillful enough in order to get العدد الانترفيو اللي انا عايزاه. فاحنا بنتكلم ان هنا عندنا اول حاجه ان الانترفيو بما ان الفتره بتاعته بتبقى طويله فانا بيبقى عندي مشكلتين، يا اما ان انا هجيب interviewer not skillful enough واعمل عدد الانترفيوز الكتير عشان اقدر اجيب الانفورميشن اللي انا عايزاها، يا اما في المقابل هجيب واحد سكيلفل ادفع له فلوس كتيره فاضطر اقلل عدد الانترفيو لان مش هقدر ادفع عدد الانترفيوز اللي دفعتها المره اللي فاتت. فده اللي بنتكلم عليه بخصوص الانترفيو. يبقى احنا بشكل عام المفترض محاضرات الاسبوع ده كانت بتتكلم حوالين الجزء الباقي بتاع الفوكس جروب. اتكلمنا على يعني ايه فوكس جروب، الكاركترستكس دي كنا اخر محاضره اتكلمنا فيها لما كنا قاعدين مع بعض، وبعد كده اتكلمنا النهارده حوالين المزايا والعيوب بتاعت الفوكس جروب، اتكلمنا حوالين الاونلاين والاونلاين فوكس جروب، the advantage and the disadvantage, the logistics behind how to conduct an online focus group. Then we talked about another tool regarding the qualitative method, which is the in-depth interviews. We talked about what is the depth interviews, the objective of the depth interview, the duration of conducting depth interview, the advantage of the depth interview, and the disadvantage of the depth interview. In order to sum it up, be aware the qualitative method, either focus or depth interview, it seeks to get information in deep in order to have an insight about what's happening around us, about the reason behind this phenomenon. Okay? One of the main disadvantages regarding the qualitative method in either the focus group or the depth interview, it is related to the researcher himself. The researcher who do the qualitative methods in general, they are very expensive. Why? Because first of all, they have to have leadership skills. This is number one. They have to have communication skills. This is number two. They have to be aware about psychology, the different way of motivating people, how to control a group of persons, how to control that every one of them have like the same share, at least the same share of time in order to say his or her point of view. How to ask someone regarding the depth interview about information in deep regarding this product or this service or this idea, for example. All of these things is depending on what? On the skills of the depth interview, the researcher himself. So one of the disadvantage, if you don't have a good researcher, the results you are going to get from the qualitative method, it's not going to reflect, actually, it's not going to reflect the nature of your problem. It's not going to give you sufficient information regarding your product or regarding your topic. So this is about this week. So this week we finished الحمد لله كده qualitative methods بشكل عام اللي هي الدايركت اللي هي الدايركت and not disguised, which means that the true objective of the interview or the focus group is already known for the target audiences. Next lecture اللي هي next week إن شاء الله بإذن الله, we are going to talk about the projective techniques. Regarding this lecture اللي هي من أول ما ابتدينا نتكلم, احنا ابتدينا من اول دي depth interview والadvantage والdisadvantage. Next time we are going to talk about the projective techniques. دي one of the tools اللي هي related qualitative methods, بس هي disguised mean once we don't know the true objective, like the target audience, the participant inside this experiment, they don't know actually what is the aim of the of collecting the information. Like the researchers are collecting information about what they don't know about. That's it. Thank you so much. If you have any question regarding what I talked about, the focus group or the depth interview, feel free to contact me via my email. After I finish the projective techniques, I will try to have like a live a meeting with you on Zoom if you want to ask me about anything, and I'm going to send you when I'm going to be available online. Thank you so much and see you inshallah بإذن الله next week.